One of the best value elements in my wardrobe is absolutely my cashmere. I practically live in my cashmere jumpers throughout the winter because the material is so soft, warm and cozy. But cashmere is also perfect for the springtime as well as autumn. In fact, a lot of luxury websites will tell you lighter cashmere is amazing even for the summer because it's such a breathable material. So I highly recommend you to invest in this material, especially if you want to build a curated and wearable wardrobe that will last you for many years. Some people might get the impression that cashmere is really hard to care for, and to be honest, they do require a bit of care, but it's not anything too overwhelming or complicated. Nowadays, you can get many cashmere pieces that are machine washable as long as you run a gentle cycle, so make sure to read the care instruction label before you make the purchase. I personally hand wash certain cashmere pieces, such as my basic jumpers, and I'm going to take you through my process step by step. First of all, I like to give the sink a thorough clean to remove any residue, just so I have a clean surface to work with. When washing your cashmere, it's best to leave the garment inside out because this will help to preserve the softness of the fabric. I use this detergent for my cashmere pieces. It has a lovely rose scent and is designed for very delicate fabric materials, so you can also use it for silk and wool pieces. Certain websites do suggest that you can also use baby shampoo because cashmere is essentially animal hair. By the way, fabric softener is not recommended for cashmere because it will form a coating on the fabric, which can then lead to peeling. A teaspoon of this detergent is all you need. The water should be lukewarm, but not over 30 degrees. Then gently swirl the cashmere and leave it in there for about 20 minutes to loosen any debris. After that, you can drain the water and rinse with cool, clean water. The cashmere fibers are weaker when they are wet, so you definitely want to avoid wringing them. Instead, you can just press the jumper gently into a ball to squeeze out any excess water. Then, reshape the jumper into its original form and roll it using a clean towel. This will remove more water from the jumper and therefore helping to reduce the drying time. Next, leave the cashmere jumper to air dry on a flat surface. I love using this drying rack because it's see-through and breathable, so it really helps to speed up the drying time. This is also very easy to assemble and put away, plus it takes up very little space in storage. If you don't have a rack, you can also simply leave your cashmere on a clean towel laid on a flat surface. Ideally, you also want to keep your pieces away from direct sunlight to prevent color fading. After drying, you might notice some wrinkles, which is quite normal. I personally prefer to steam my cashmere instead of ironing because this way the heat is not as extreme on the fabric. Besides, steaming gives the cashmere a more relaxed aesthetic. You can use an iron, but I think those very polished edges might just look a little bit out of place on materials like silk and cashmere. By the way, steaming is also an amazing pick-me-up for your cashmere pieces in between washes because it can really freshen up your pieces and remove any light, unpleasant odor. So for me, a steamer is a fantastic gadget for my wardrobe. Now you might ask, how often should I wash my cashmere pieces? This really depends. A lot of websites suggest that you can wear your cashmere jumper for 7 to 10 times before you wash it. Some even suggest you can wear them up to 50 times. So I don't think that's a fixed number when it comes to how often you should wash your cashmere pieces. I'm quite fortunate to have a small selection of cashmere pieces, so I can really spread out the uses. In the winter especially, I always wear a thermal layer underneath my cashmere jumpers, so I would diligently wash those thermal elements, but I tend to wash my cashmere pieces at the end of winter, and then I will do another wash at the end of springtime, unless if something is quite visibly stained or soiled. Sometimes I also like to use a fabric spray in between washes. I think we all love that refreshing scent from freshly done laundry, but excessive washing can actually be damaging for your cashmere. So I recommend using a fabric spray if you want to give your pieces a fresh, lovely scent. I love using this one because it's really gentle and light, and it doesn't leave any stain or residue. After a few sprays, I like to leave the cashmere to air dry for a few hours before returning it back to my wardrobe, ready for the next time. As wonderful as cashmere is as a fabric material, it is prone to peeling. This is something that will happen to any cashmere. It's just a feature of this material. So even if you go for the top luxury brand, peeling will happen eventually. I highly recommend investing in a fabric shaver if you own any cashmere pieces. I tried using a pair of scissors before and it did not go well. Like I said, I wear my cashmere a lot, but I find that I only have to take care of the peeling once a year. And that is for my most worn pieces, such as my cashmere loungewear set. All I need to do is to go over the cashmere with the fabric shaver very gently, and it always amazes me how the fabric looks like brand new in no time. I don't tend to see a lot of lint on my cashmere pieces, but it is more visible on the darker pieces, so every now and again I like to go over the fabric with a lint roller. In terms of storage, it's best to avoid hanging your cashmere because it can stretch the fabric and therefore distort your cashmere pieces. I now fold all my cashmere jumpers and shawls and keep them in the drawers. If you're worried about moths eating your cashmere pieces and leaving holes in them, you can look into getting some cedarwood balls or blocks. These are natural ingredients that can help to repel moths and other insects. I like to leave about 7 to 10 cedarwood balls in each drawer. This is a new measure for me, to be honest, but I've decided it's a prevention worth doing. Now, seeing the oil from the cedarwood can potentially stain your pieces, it's best to avoid direct contact with your cashmere, so I like to leave them in these little pouches. Naturally, the scent of the cedarwood balls will fade in time. So to maintain the effectiveness, you can either replace the cedarwood balls or simply top up the oil. I use this cedarwood extract, and it's recommended that you do a top up every 3 months or so. I like having easy access to everything, so I don't keep anything in storage. Over the summer, I don't wear my cashmere jumpers as much, so I like to cover them with a cotton pillowcase just to keep the dust away. I suggest using something in white color just so you don't have to worry about color transfer. Generally speaking, plastic boxes are not recommended for storing cashmere pieces because they are not breathable, and therefore they tend to trap in moisture, and this in turn can cause yellowing, staining, and mildew. So whatever storage system you go for, just remember it's really important to allow your cashmere pieces to breathe. If you need to put things away, I found this cashmere storage bag on the MP website. This is made of 100% cotton, so it's very breathable. It also has a zipper to keep moths and insects away. However, this is quite pricey, so I recommend using a cotton pillowcase instead if you happen to have a spare one. So those are the ways I care for my cashmere pieces. I hope this is helpful. I know it might sound like a lot of work, but for me it's worth the effort because I absolutely enjoy cashmere. Besides, you don't actually need a massive collection of cashmere pieces because with the right care, they will last you for many years. If you have any other good suggestions, please drop them down below. Thank you for being here. Take care and I will see you soon.